So, we have looked at this algorithm A star, and we want to now discuss that does it guarantee us an optimal solution, because that is where we came to here from. We started at looking at branch and bound and showed that you will always find the optimal solution, but branch and bound did not have a sense of direction. So, we added the heuristic function, and now we want to see whether under what conditions A star will guarantee an optimal solution. So, if you remember the Dijkstra's shortest path algorithm, uh, it finds the shortest path to all nodes in the graph, and in the diagram on the right, the algorithm has colored S, B and A as black, or in our terminology it has put them in closed. But at the point it does that, the algorithm is about to pick node D. It is the cheapest node that has not been picked up of all the nodes that have not been picked up, which is D and C. The others have not even been generated yet. Cost of D is 7, which is via B, and it is the cheapest path to D essentially. No other cheaper path is possible to any node in open, because there are two nodes in open, C and D, and the paths to them have cost 7 and 8 respectively. So, whenever Dijkstra's algorithm picks a node from open, it has already found the cheapest path to that, and in this case it is going to be D next, and after that it is going to be C and E and then G finally. A star is designed to find the optimal paths to the goal. I mean, that is the goal of designing this algorithm. But given that the algorithm appears that A star may not have found the cheapest path to a node that it picks up. Why do we say that? We say that because when we discussed the algorithm, we made sure that there were three cases. One was when it picks new nodes and adds them to open. The second case was when it finds newer paths to nodes which are already on open uh, and updates their path. And the third case was when it had found newer paths to nodes on closed, which means it is possible that it can find better paths to nodes on closed. Why does that happen, and how do we make sure that despite that eventually it gives us the optimal path, is what we want to study next. So, as I said, this is suggested by the fact that case 3 in the algorithm caters to finding cheaper paths to nodes already in closed. And this, as we said, happens because A star works with the estimated cost, where h of n is an estimate of distance to the goal, whereas Dijkstra's algorithm only worked with known costs, and therefore it could be sure that it has found the cheapest path to that. Here we do not know how the function h will behave for nodes which are on open. So, when we pick a node from open, we are not sure whether we have already found the shortest path or not. The estimate is going from the start node to the goal node via node n. That is what f of n represents essentially. So, the question we want to ask is, does A star always find the cheapest path to the goal node? Because that is our original objective, we want to go to the goal node, and if yes, then under what condition? So, these are the questions that we want to ask. Does it find a path to the goal node if there exists one, even if the graph is infinite? And then does it find the cheapest path to the goal node? The answers to all these are yes, but only under certain given conditions, and we want to look at those. So, a search algorithm is said to be admissible if it is guaranteed to return the optimal solution if there exists one. In fact, this superscript of star that we use with this algorithm, which otherwise would have been simply algorithm A, the fact that we add a star to that indicates that we are talking about an admissible algorithm, which means that it will guarantee an optimal solution. But under what conditions is the question we want to ask. So, let us talk about figuring out under what condition this happens. So, we introduce some terminology here. We introduce these functions f star, g star and h star of n, which are the optimal values. So, g star of n is the optimal cost from start to S to N essentially. H star of N likewise is an optimal cost from node N to node G, and F star of N is the optimal cost of a cost from start to goal, but which goes via node N essentially. All these three values with star in them are optimal values essentially. So, observe that these values are not known in general. This is only for the purpose of analysis that we have created these representations. Also observe that in general g star of n will be less than g of n. What is g of n? G of 1 is the actual cost. And g star of n is the optimal. It is the optimal cost, but we may not know that. Why is g of n greater than g star of n? Because the algorithm may not have found the optimal path at any given point. So, this inequality will be always true, that g star of n is always less than or equal to g of n. It could be equal to if the algorithm has found a optimal path, but it may not be. Essentially, the algorithm may not have found the optimal path essentially. Just keep that in mind when we do the analysis. So, under what conditions is A star going to be admissible? What should the heuristic function be like if A star is to always find the least cost path? So, before we look at this, just think about the fact that if the heuristic function said that the distance to the goal is always 0, then this algorithm would get transformed into branch and bound essentially, because we are not counting anything extra. So, obviously that would work, that if the heuristic function always says that the future cost is 0, then it is only looking at the past cost like branch and bound, and it will always find the optimal cost, but we do not want that. If the heuristic function was perfect, then h of n would be equal to h star of n, but such a function does not exist, and therefore, what can we say about what should be the kind of heuristic function that we will choose? If it is not going to be equal to h star of n, then there are only two possibilities. One is that it is less than or equal to h star of n, which means it underestimates the distance to the goal. The other is that it always is greater than or equal to h star of n, which means that it always overestimates the distance to the goal. What should be our choice? So, let us try and answer this question by constructing an example, by carefully designing a situation which will give us a clue. So, the question that we want to ask is, should we overestimate the distance to the goal, which is h of n, or should we underestimate the distance to the goal? So, consider this very simple example in which the algorithm is one step away from the goal node, and it has to choose between expanding node P or expanding node Q, both of which we have said have g values of 100. This is for the sake of considering the possibilities. Now, let the actual cost of going from P to G be 30, that is the edge cost for the from node P to node G, and the actual cost of Q to G be 40, which means that the optimal solution is through node P, which should be 100 plus 30, which is 130. The question is, what kind of heuristic functions will always allow us to find the optimal path? So, let us look at two heuristic functions, one which overestimates and one which underestimates the distance to the goal, which means what? The actual cost is 30 and 40, but the function can think that they are higher, or the function can think that they are lower. If they think that it is higher, then it is overestimating the distance. If it thinks that it is lower, then they are underestimating the distance. So, remember that this is like h star of n, the optimal cost, which is the h cost essentially. But the h of n is the actual function that we will be using for estimating the distance. So, let h1 be an overestimating function and then h2 be an underestimating function, and let us look at them one by one. So, here is an overestimating function. This is the actual problem. The cost of going up to p is 100, the actual cost of going from p to g is 30, the cost of going up to q is also 100, and the actual cost of going from q to g is 40. We will see that an overestimating function will find a solution through q. How does that happen? So, let us say it is an overestimating function and let it misjudge the relative distance of the goal essentially, which means that it thinks that q is closer than p to the goal. What kind of a function would do that? So, let us say h of p is equal to 60 and h of q is equal to 50, which means it thinks that q is closer to the goal, it has a distance of 50, and it thinks that p has a distance of 60 from to the goal, whereas the actual things are 30 and 40 as shown in the figure, and in actual practice p is closer to the goal because it has a distance of 30 and q is not closer, it has a distance of 40. But this function, which is an overestimating function, overestimates both these values. So, instead of 30 it thinks that it is 60 and instead of 40 it thinks that it is 50. But you see that 50 is less than 60, so it thinks that q is closer than p, whereas in fact it is not closer. So, how does search work? We start with, we have let us say only these two candidates in open left, which is p and q. So, the f value of p is the g value of p plus h value of p, which is 100 plus 60. What is 60? 60 is the heuristic function as estimated by this h value. So, it thinks that the f value of p is 160 and likewise it thinks that the f value of q is 150. So, it says that f of q is lower. So, let us pick and expand that. So, algorithm picks q and adds g to open with a cost of 140. By this point it has discovered the actual cost because it has uh, generated g as a child of q and it has computed its value as 100 plus 40. 40 is the edge cost for q to g, and so f of g, which is equal to g of g plus h of g. H of g is 0 because it is a goal node. So, g of g is 100 plus 40. If you remember, that is how the g values are updated when new nodes are added to open essentially. So, it's put f of g, it's got two nodes left on open, one is p and one is g. So, this has already gone into closed because it has expanded this. F of p is 160, that is what it had computed, and f of g as we have seen is 140. So, that is smaller. So, the algorithm will pick g and because it is a goal node, it will terminate and say that I found a path of length 140. So, what is the culprit? The culprit here is that it is an overestimating function. Let us see what happens with an underestimating function. So, let us choose the underestimating function h2 and let it also misjudge the relative distance to the goal, which means that it also thinks that q is closer to p to the goal than p is essentially. And how does it do that? Because it has an estimate of h of q is equal to 15 and h of p is equal to 20. So, it thinks q is closer to goal and therefore, it will also pick the node q for expansion. So, the same thing applies, you compute f of p and f of q So, f of p, g of both p and q is 100, whereas it is the h values which are different. So, we find that f of p is 120 and f of q is 115. This is according to the heuristic values that we have computed essentially, which is an underestimating function. It thinks that p q is closer to the goal, and it will also pick q for expansion next. But what happens when it picks q for expansion? It will again find the same path of cost 140 to the goal. So, f of g will be same, 100 plus 40, which is the g value, plus 0, which is the h value, is 140, which is what this happened in this previous example also, because by now h of g has become 0, it does not have any contribution left to make to the f value. Now, this is 140, but the other node has a value of 120. So, between 140 and 120, it will not pick g, it will pick p, and it will find the path which is a g value of 130, which is the path through that. So, you can see that both these functions were misjudging which node p or q is closer to the goal. Both thought that q is closer than p is, but the difference between these two functions was that h1 overestimated the distance to the goal and h2 underestimated the distance to the goal. And with this example, I hope it is clear that underestimating results in finding the optimal cost. So, what are the conditions under which A star is admissible? A star is admissible under the following condition. One is that the branching factor should be finite, otherwise you cannot even generate the neighbors, I think. The total number of nodes in the graph can still be infinite. The graph can still be infinite, but the branching factor must be finite. The only algorithm which works with infinite branching factor is something like simulated annealing, because there you only pick one random neighbor, you do not generate all the neighbors. The second condition is that every edge has a cost greater than some small constant epsilon essentially. Now, it turns out that most literature earlier said that it must be positive. So, which basically says greater than 0. But I was teaching this class sometime in the mid 90s, and a student, Arvind Narayan, pointed out that positive cost, that if we just use a condition of positive cost which is greater than 0, it would be possible to have an infinite path with a finite cost that the algorithm could get stuck in essentially. So, for example, if you have a path in which the edge costs are like 1 plus half plus 1/4 plus 1/8 and so on, then you can see that the sum of this infinite sequence adds up to 2. And so, here is an infinite path, and it would get stuck in that because this cost is only 2 essentially. So, Arvind is now a professor at Princeton teaching computer science. The third condition, as we have just got an idea from the example, is that the heuristic function must underestimate the distance to the goal. So, h of n should be less than or equal to h star of n always. So, under these conditions, we can now prove that A star is admissible. So, we present the proof as through a series of small lemmas.